The highest value for today round will be accessibility, defined as the practice of making your website usable by as many people as possible. First, privatization, economic growth. Since ecological focus upon the relationship between things, it inclines its student toward a more holistic vision of the world. Ecologically has made it possible to apprehend the landscape as an article unity, dis- discernment parts, organs though, yet because of the network of relationship among those parts, they form a second order whole. Another analogy, land is integrated as a human community is integrated. The biotech community depend one another. We may think among the duties we as moral agents have is the duty of self preservation. It is not uncommon to find that in addition to if it is pain and suffering that is ultimate evil besetting human life, and this not in virtue of our humanity, but in virtue of our animality, then it seems only fair to promote freedom from pain for those animals who those particular responsible for we have a duty to have in ways that do not harm the fabric of society per se. The land ethic call our attention to recent discovery integrity of the biology and posit duty binding upon moral agent in the relationship of the whole. Non betterment human morality insists that human beings must be understood consistently with the rest of organic nature. People are only animals. If it is pain and suffering that is ultimate evil besetting human life, and this not in virtue of our humanity, but in virtue of our animality, then it seems only fair to promote freedom from pain for those animals. Studies are not infrequently cited to drive the point human pointed home, but the biological information of the animal liberation movement seems to extend no further than this. It would involve intolerable contra- contradictions with the Benthamite foundation of their ethical theory. Bentham's view of the interests of community was bluntly reductive. Second, for all uncertainties on Earth about the long term, for unknown in space are order of magnitude greater society known very little about the composition of unvisited space bodies and even less about possibility interaction of the active in space. Corporations have primarily legal obligation to sharehold profit, thus too narrow perspective to make judgment that consider the overall public good and long-term consequences of their actions. Some of the target bodies may contain unknown material that could help to explain the original microbiological life in mineral environments. Asteroids may not turn out to be lifeless rocks, but instead may contain irreplaceable information. It is not possible to anticipate when a landing and retrieval project would disrupt. Material of scientific importance. Private control of asteroids also present the risk of backward contamination. The OST also covered forward communications, which is communication affecting the target celestial bodies. The Space Act invites private visitors to scarcely explore places but provide no mechanism to monitor and control the potential for the micro contaminations. Third, community LEO space activity. Space activity has appeared to go through predictable strength. Commercial activities designed to harness the profit potential of space-based application in a low Earth orbit. Stay turned away from the moon and focus back on the Earth. There is no mention of space debris with the OST. It is clear to some observation that the debris situation in LEO could catastrophically population 2 expert. Warren of possibility conclusion cascade effect, now known as cluster syndrome as the amount of debris object in a given orbit increase. So, with the probability of collision between them, and if a seasonable object hit a satellite, it could produce 100 or 1,000 additional debris objects. This would produce the debris belt, foretold in the paper subtitle and rendered the orbit unstallable. Aid in Earth law reform, the window of opportunity to apply significantly different legal approach to a large unexplored domain is closing. Now I'll jump to my next case. My highest valuable will be accessibility. Same thing as my F for my value. Contention 1. Resources extraction. There are foreign United States based companies whose business plan involves space mining for profit. There is great abundance of wealth of natural resources on, but we humans, now numbering some 7.5 billion and likely to grow as large as 12 billions by 21,000, have a vast hunger for product and energy. Modern civilization will soon need to adjust to emergency 21st centuries realities. By the end of this century, there may be perhaps 100 megacities or more than 10 million people. In growing natural resources need world as we know it today, our world will be experiencing significant elements of climate change. Major environmental shift will no longer be sustainable. We will need to reach out into space and start involve a space-based economy. As demand for natural resources continues to grow, the availability of natural resources will become a growing problem. The interaction between mining and astronauts did not come by accident. Space activity would not continue to develop effectively without the support of the mining industry and its emergence beyond the terrestrial atmosphere. Along with this, but further space exploration and geospace safely promote will be impossible without the development of space mining. Development of mining is in the line with the reduction of anthropogenic pressure of the biosphere. The development of space resources and their drastically changed the principle and trajectory of space mission. The priority of space resources is water. Water where we have every single time. It can be found in circumterrestrial asteroid in the amount of several trillion tons. If it becomes possible to extract water from natural cosmic bodies, it will reduce the price of further space development by 20 times. More than 1,000 asteroids are flying near the Earth. Some of them present a very serious threat to our planet, which is often reported. Have you guys seen the dinosaurs dying? Yeah. It is evident that the asteroid comet hazard has to be prevented, and it can fundamentally affect the choice of further way and method of space activities, since security is always more important than commercial and other activities. It is also necessary to stand secure in order to develop the economy. Above all, the basic need for safe existence and sustainable development on Earth and in space. Funding for space R&D for the growth of commercial investment has been impressive. Investment in new space companies now account for an estimate 5 billion to 6 billion per year in space. R&D and funding. Some of these companies receive funding from investment firm, private equity or venture capital, while others are backed by their wealth funders' profit. It may be it may be further invested in R&D. Over the past 5 years, commercial R&D spending within the space sector has risen by 22% annually, more than double the 10% increase for U.S. government spending. We are spending more. The R&D spending more for space sector has risen by 22%. Anyways, thank you very much. This is my pro and con challenge. Hopefully this works and post on YouTube.